Here we go with the other upper bracket game. The winner of this is going to be facing the winner of Billy Billy and Golden Guardians. It was the second series of the afternoon. We've got G2, who looked absolutely stunning in their game, and PSG, honestly. Both these teams walking away with stomps. In fact, Golden Guardians is the only team to go to a Game 3, I believe. So, uh, close matchup. We should see some amount of explosive play here. We do see the Kazakhs with the double AP laners. This is what you want to see from a Kazakhs. You want to make sure that he is able to build lethality and go ham. We also have a Lucian Nami lane, very explosive. And Malphite got picked, and it looks like Kennen gets brought in as the counter pick. Now, Malphite can make this lane work with Q, getting a Q max early, right? You actually put 3 points in the Q to chip away the Kennen, and you stand in the middle of the wave. You use it every time that your mana flow band is open, your Scorch is open, and your shield is up, right? And you take those trades, you fight for those, you put 2 points in it at level 3, and you can chunk away this Kennen. Now the Kennen is going call as he should into this matchup. There's 0 kill pressure from the Malphite until level 6. So the call is going to help him with sustain. It is also going to get him that extra gold lead. We have caps on Gragas again, playing these supportive mid laners like the Nautilus, like the Gragas. Big, tanky, beefy AP threats that are just going to do well either with the Abyssal Mask or the Roa. And we've seen how good Abyssal Mask is. I expect him to get it in this game as well because we have Annie Malphite trying to dive on you. It is an exceptionally strong item for Gragas in general. And also it will help shred some of the MR to help with Kennen. But the stock build that everyone goes tends to be Roa from the mid lane. So could easily see that as well. Now, Lucian Nami, despite being as strong as they are, they do lose level 1 to Xayah Rakan. You lose level 1 and 2, you can fight back at level 3. Once you're able to get permanent uptime on the buffs on Lucian, they will be able to go. But you see them showing this respect, not going for trades right now. Nami's not even level 2. So somehow they got a little syncopated right there. I don't know how that happened, but a little instability in the ranks right there from Waco and Woody. Now, we have this big play. 3 minutes, 5 seconds into the game, we get a triple stacked wave. Jundia is hovering, is spotted here. This may be the end. They may call off the play, but they're bringing everyone. Caps pushed in mid. They have the triple stack up in top because that's the kind of lane that you have with Ken and Malphite. And it looks like they're going to go for it, and they execute it well. My goodness, so nicely done. Grag is able to sustain against some of that damage, able to juggle the action, and actually probably the preferred target. You got the Viego dead. Malphite's alive, but you want this situation of Kennen versus Malphite. So a wonderful situation for G2. Now, Broken Blade could take a recall here and just shop, right? 19 CS plus, well, let's see. Wow, is that perfect? Yeah. Perfect CS. Maybe did they lose a wave during the dive? He must have. Yeah, he must have. The total amount of CS and the assist, though, would have been enough to bring him back to lane with another item if he had wanted it. But one of the things that happens when you do that, especially if you buy an AP item right after cull, it swaps all your adaptive stacks to magic, and he just doesn't want that quite yet. He wants to keep on dealing the most of his damage with the attacks. Check out this formation here. Good job early getting the CCs down, and boom, Gragas waits, drops Q and E together, and W to mitigate the damage. And here we see what happens. Broken Blade staying late with the negative wave is going to have to flash out. Uses it right there. And Yike not even getting this kill. Dodging the flash from Junja, is able to get it, but this is going to be doomed for him. The saving grace here is that the wave is coming back for the Kennen. So even though Viego is able to get himself the double buffs, he will crash the rest of the wave in, as Aji will let him know, like, yeah, this wave is pretty boned. But Kennen doesn't mind. He was going to use that teleport anyways. We'll see this technique in the last hitting. He's probably going to lose one right there. Might lose the other one as well. Hansam, whoa, flashing forward. They see the play with the Gragas, and they're going to catch Nami at the very least here. And this is what I love. G2 has found their meta. I'm going with beefcake mids, AP champions that can have some presence in the side waves. No more just farming mid. Not to mention that the champions might just be, or the players are so good at playing into these matchups anyways. But Gragas just clear the wave, roam. Clear the wave, roam. Now check out this aggression. Yeah, look at all those minions. Those minions just ripping into Broken Blade. If he had died there, that would have been colossally bad for them. Good job by Yike waiting until the Malphite was stuck between a rock and a hard place. Once he had no dodging angle, of course, is what I mean. Once he moves to the side of that, there's no more dodging left, so you can aim that to the right hip, and you will hit it every single time. There is such a thing as waiting on your skill shots until they can't miss, and that is exactly what Yike just did. Now, that being said, the big benefactors of all this roaming are going to be Annie, who's left alone in the lane, and Kennen, who, of course, was the beneficiary of the action up in top lane and was able to pick up that wave. Now, look at this. Caps finding the angle, throws it from the bush as soon as Annie loses vision, and that knocks him straight into the waiting hands of Yike. And here we see this game. This is designed for Yike to carry. Make no mistake about it. Kennen, Gragas, upfront damage, meant to isolate, meant to blow up and isolate. And now we also see the flex in bot lane. Hans Sama, knowing how strong this Xayah Rakan is, taking it to the Lucian Nami. Also having a boots and dagger advantage, right? So that little bit is enough to make sure that they feel confident. It's still going to be a good fighting matchup. Xayah Rakan do it as good as anybody else, right? Especially when you give Rakan that extra ability from Xayah's W. And they go, expect him to tap this plate, and that will go down. The rest of the minions will take it. He does. Good job by Waco. That's a neat little trick you can do. If you see that they are moving away and you don't want the minions to go at, just attack the backline. The backline will lose their AI aggro, and they will aggro on you. And then you can step back. And then if there's minions around, they will re-aggro on the minions, and they'll never actually kill that plate. So you can actually wait out the timer for their recall and then let the plate go down on the next time. Way to secure your team a 180 gold opportunity cost advantage, we'll call it. All right, so now taking stock, Viego, very far behind, but did get a kill for himself, so is able to make up some of that ground. He's got the Caulfield's Warhammer, which is, of course, a big spike for him with the extra ability to cast that Q, which is going to increase his clear speed significantly. They end up just stepping back. Broken Blade, it just gets the wave in, punches in the stacked wave. Now expect him to go roam, right? There's two options here. You can either use this priority, the full wave pushing on top, to go get the Rift Herald, or you can use it to go towards mid. If you push mid in, that means you'll have free reign either to the dragon or to the Herald. So you'll pick a spot and go for it. Right now, they're opting to just go for Herald, saying, hey, Malphite, you're pinned to your turret with 12 minions coming in on your base. So we'll take this while you're stuck up there. Malphite will take the opportunity to create a generous lane state for himself, which you see right now. He got that push in, but Kennen hasn't missed a beat, right? You go over there, you help with the Rift Herald, you come over, you pick up your wave. Now be careful, Malphite has this timer. This is something you should be looking for in your solo queue games. Malphite, anytime you can get the wave in, roam, roam, roam. Your ult is not for your lane, your roam is for other lanes. We're going to see it right here. He's spotted by that minion, and Gragas is able to get out. Kind of hesitant. Would have liked to see Aji go for the play there. The angle was available to him. But they end up getting nothing for it. Now Kennen saying, hey, I'm going to call your bluff. If you're moving mid, I'm going to push back into you. And you're going to see this constant deviation from the top wave, right? Whoever gets the wave in is going to look for a play because you have these massive team fight ultimates available to them. So largely it's going to be first to move is going to be the one to win. The other one's going to want to clear quickly so that they can follow, or say, hey, team, back off, just be safe. Let me recreate this situation. What it's going to end up looking like is a little bit of ping pong, right? I've got the wave. I'm going to push it in. I'm going to leave. It does not seem like either of these players want to just match a roam. They want to say, hey, I'll just tell my team to back off. and we'll go. But the question will be, when can you get 3 people there, right? 2 extra people in your lane is going to be guaranteed kills. Just like we saw in top lane, if we can get Gragas and Kha'Zix to move over on a roam timer, you're going to be really good. It probably won't happen anymore now that we've got Malphite at 6, plus he's on Merc Treads, not really a gankable target. Not only that, but the benefits of ganking a Malphite are slim to none. You could get yourself some extra plates, you could get some extra gold on the Kennen, and, you know, that stuff matters, but it's just not nearly as important as what's going on in the bot wave. You certainly don't want to blow your load up in top lane only to have bot lane get massacred. Check out this advantage. Whew. Interesting play by Rakan with that angle. I was trying to figure out how he made that jump work, but it looks like it was dash into Q, or dash into W. Now let's see, can Broken Blade stay alive? He's got the ultimate down. Viego's gonna have to get out. Kha'Zix with so much upfront damage here is looking to hover. We got another punch. And yeah, dude, you know what that is? That is the changes to the isolation target here. Now, did Broken Blade take the aggro? No. Oh, they flashed out. They still cut it. Kragas gets the kill as Malphite is meandering away. And we have a slaughter on our hands. G2 flying across the map. Some real smoke and mirrors in action here. They are closing the blinds, saying, hey, we're turning out the lights. We're going to kill this wave, and we are going to roam. We're going to make plays happen. We're going to be emphatic. And in doing it in front of this home crowd, they've got to be loving it. Most people in Europe, we've got G2 fans anyways, but they are certainly winning themselves over some new ones as well this time. Hans Sama realizing how weak the Nami would be here. Can Broken Blade finish this off? Misses the Q, but he does get the stun. That's the cleanse. 1E if it touches, it's good. Doesn't have the ward to see over the wall, and Waco gets away. So the bot lane, 2 for 1, and they lose the teleport from Kennen, and he's also going to get top wave. Now, let's see if she uses Tibbers on the wave here. It's something you can do to get extra turret damage in. Tibbers, I won't say it's a non-zero amount of damage to the turret that he deals, but more importantly, he's going to soak up 6 hits. You can use your shield twice on him. That's how long he can tank up the turret. So a lot of times you just want to use Tibbers for tempo to get these extra turret plates down. We'll see what the top plate looks like. Now, they did just catch Broken Blade with no E. Flashes down to get away from that initial engage. And they're able to turn this fight with no flash. They're able to get this. Turning it on its head. You see Rakan and Gragas coming. They're about 5 and 10 seconds away, respectively. They come in. Let's see who takes the aggro here. Everyone's turning on. Boom, you got... There it is. Rakan taking the aggro. Actually flashes out. Did not need to flash at all. So a little bit of a panic play from Mickey. That might have been the difference between getting the kill. In fact, surely was the difference between getting Lucian in the bot wave. The fact that Mickey blew his flash completely unnecessarily there. Especially since he's going... Well, you know, he did stay on the map, it looks like. So maybe not so much. But if you don't flash, right, you've got that tool available to you in situations like these, like the one in bot wave. You really want to take a deep breath, count those turret shots, communicate with your team well. Only say what needs to be said, right? Keep comms quiet and calm so that people can focus. Let them know something, and if it happens, say, I've got aggro, right? I got aggro. Boom, that's it. Even better would be, I'll take aggro. And then you just focus. You think from there. Getting damage onto Broken Blade as he takes aggro. So now he's going to use the ultimate to wipe the wave, get a little bit of trade. Now he is going to step back, try to make this a solo kill so that there is no kill to the Viego specifically. Actually doing a fairly big chunk of damage there as well. Showing the power of these two items. Just spell pen. Even against Aegis of the Legion and Merc Treads was still a significant chunk of damage. So you see how much Kennen is going to carry that matchup. Now you have Gragas holding down mid while Kha'Zix picks up the Herald. We're going to trade Herald for Dragon, it looks like. They are deciding to take this play because they want to get the plates, not the plates, but they want to finish off this turret in top wave, use that global gold and global map pressure to get elsewhere. Now expect them to go for 2, right? Since they know the dragon's going down, everyone's disappeared off the map. That means that they can go for 2 turrets here. Xayah very well can just go clear this wave, keep the minions alive. A little bit of miscommunication here, right? This is imperfect. Having them that spread apart means that Xayah did need to take time just killing the front line and was not able to get the back line all in one motion. Ooh, Gragas going for that touch, going for the belly bump into ult, which would have landed into Rakan's face as well. That would have given time for the empowered cask. Instead, they get none of that thanks to the swift feet of the Lucian. He's able to get out for himself. Tight windows. Tight windows. That little inaccuracy in mid-wave results in them not getting this turret, by the way. Worth noting. So a couple mistakes. You know, we do have... ooh. Is this big bait? Uh-oh. You flew in the air during Zhonya's. That is what you don't want to have happen. They do get the 50 gold to Hansama for killing Tibbers. You know, don't discount that. Now, the move speed buff here. No, it's not the right map. Rakan, you'll just be jumping out on your own. Feels bad when you drop a ward and it dies within 5 seconds. But no harm, no foul. The stopwatch was used in exchange for the Xayah ultimate, which is a great trade for PSG. So they do have a window potentially. She does still have flash and cleanse available to her. Of course, they're trying to get the combination of Malphite into the rest of the damage. You cannot cleanse that, but you can flash it. So Xayah will be looking to dodge either with the ultimate coming back up, which based on the tempo of the game right now looks like it might just happen, or in a dire situation might use the flash to dodge it. And very much so, PSG wants to get that pick, get in, get out. They would also accept a pick onto Kha'Zix, right? Kha'Zix is going to be very squishy. Does have an Edge of Night to dodge that first ability, so I love this build. Eclipse into Edge. Not trying to upgrade the boots, even though the boots would get you around the map. Saying, hey, I want this upfront damage. I had 350 like extra gold. It's going into a longsword. I need to stay strong at every moment. But you're going to see these fights, right? From G2, you're going to see Kennen lock everyone down, Gragas blow everyone up. Those 2 abilities guaranteed to wipe out any minion wave that you might be hiding in. And once Explosive Cast goes down, it's Kha'Zix field day, right? Everybody's scattered. Boom, boom, pick. Jump on you, Q ult, Q. Might even go for the Q evolve and E evolve this game. Based on the way that their structure is set up, I would not be surprised to see that combination. Oh, Gragas. Oh. I was going to say mistimes the cask because it gets buffered out. Junja just ults over the wall to dodge it, but then Gragas flashes over the wall to get away from the 3-man. So he gets away for himself. Now check this out. He is going for the Roa into Archangels, right? This is very classic. Might have expected Abyssal Mask, and in some games I'm sure he would consider it. Perhaps in this one they're saying, hey, the upfront is just Annie and Malphite. You can get by that with just some health and like one piece of magic resist in any way, shape, or form, or even just from the runes, plus the health. That should be enough. So instead he's going to build for staying alive versus the sustained damage of Viego and Lucian. So we'll be curious to see if a stopwatch comes out next. Rakan. Oh my god, was that a bait? Was it all a bait? No. Going on that deep mission now. It is something that you can do, right? If you are going to put Xayah in this side lane, which is sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Against the book, right? The book would have you put Xayah in the midwave and have the big players on the side, but they're opting, saying, hey, you know what? We know what they're trying to do. It's Annie and Malphite trying to get on Xayah. That's their plan. So if we actually put Xayah in the side, what we can do is say, hey, we can control vision, force Annie and Malphite together, 2 solo laners to funnel to the same wave. So this non-standard approach is actually blowing my mind right now. It's probably genius. Might have just been accidental. They're just like, hey, this is where we are, this is where we go. But most of these times, these teams are planning out these plays. And if the intent is, hey, we want to bottleneck you into a spot with a wall because we're actually the team with the counter engage, Kennen and Gragas, we're happy to let Annie and Malphite come both to the same side lane, that could be brilliant. Now, if I were trying to counter that, if I'm PSG, what do I do about Isaiah in the sideline? Well, I guess I would just play for mid-prio, saying, hey, your AD carries up there. I don't need to kill you because you're killing yourself just by going to a side wave. There's no way that you're going past that inner turret. So I'll play for mid-prio and then say, hey, we'll fight for objectives on the other side of the map since your AD carry can never be there. So what would be the plan? How would you answer that if you're G2? You'd have to rotate over. You'd have to either say, okay, we're going to call your bluff and we're going to go ham in this pushing situation where we have the lead. That could be the case. Very interesting to think of all the dynamics that would happen, all the changes that would come up from an AD carry in the side lane, sort of anti-meta. But we'll keep on, we'll call it as we see it here. It does look like they're going to revert to standard. Which is going to be Zaya in the middle, able to join for any kind of sort of team fight. She does have 3 avenues of retreat. She can go left, right, or back. And she's got that ultimate for self-peel, and she's got the cleanse to make sure she can get it off, right? So she's got all the tools to make sure that she stays alive. Only 207 farm, though. Would like to see more, especially since she's got some time alone to herself in the side lane. Would like to see this number up at like 240. 207 is kind of woefully short for these standards. There was a lot of action in the bot wave, and you did see a lot of diving on the cross map. So it could be a concession to the fact that there was pressure. But even then, under pressure, would still like to see someone like Stixay that's been on this stage before handle themselves and get that. Now, Malphite's in the bot wave. He does have teleport. Do we see a Baron? Yes, we are going to see a Baron. Check out what Claps is up to. He's holding down the avenue here, going to check out their ways in. They've got the teleport. They may decide that we're just going to take the fight right now, call off the Baron, which is what they do. They got the prize they wanted. They got chunk damage, so they win in the damage trade, and Malphite is missing his teleport, which means that the waves into the pit right now are fairly limited. Woody is very low on health, has no ultimate, so they are very much relying on a blind steal if they go for it. Aji's getting out of vision. They're going to try to creep up, but Gragas is still here. They have to worry about who might be in these pits, but it might be too little too late. Look at the position. They've got the control ward out. They're going for the fight. PSG baits out the fight, is able to pull back. Kennen gets the ultimate on nobody. In fact, gets beat up by the Lucian. That is tremendously bad for them. This is exactly what PSG wanted. They bait the engage and they step back. Brilliantly done by them, but a colossal mistake by G2. Make no mistake about it, PSG had to tiptoe into every single corridor there, and they make the best of it with how tanky the Malphite is, the disjoints on Viego, and the fact that Lucian Nami were able to kite away and beat the Kennen. But now, is Gragas just going to hold on to aggro here? He's saying, I'm tanky enough. You can't do it in the back. You can't do it with the extra damage. Is he just calling their bluff? He says, I know they don't have vision. I'm going to stay in here and hold this long enough for Kha'Zix to show up. I love the call. Forces the teleport. Great job by them. Great job by Caps saying, hey, I can hold this. I can hold this for 20 seconds while my jungler shows up. But the vision behind them shows PSG that they did not retreat. But G2's going to call it again. Be like, we've got better cooldowns up. We know that you burned almost everything. 3 flashes are down. Nami's will be coming up. But now they may not remember that the tidal wave came out early. And so she may have access to this a little bit earlier than they're expecting. Getting close to the wall. Mickey getting close to the wall. They get picked over the edge. G2 is throwing at the Baron pit. And Viego gets the steal, even though they use the cask. Oh my goodness, the game is falling away. Viego, using the ultimate, has to get the ulti from Caps. Wow. G2 reaching on that first fight. And then each time, like, no, we've got it. And it seems like they're just playing the play off the cuff. Like, no, we can still take the shot. Does not compose themselves and handle themselves well in the fight. The first time, they definitely came out early. You have to know that PSG is like doing 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, because every single bush could be death for them. So they successfully bait out engage tools. They're able to kite out enough damage in that first fight to survive. And then importantly, Lucian and Nami getting in. So Tremendous effort by PSG. Look at this. Too close to the wall. You can't stand there. What are you doing? Kazakhs, that's not your job. That is just an egregious blunder. Yike can't do that. To what end, right? To what end? To throw a W? To throw an empowered W? I already said I thought this build should be QE. Yes, the empowered W tends to be better, but ever since the changes in the patch where they took away a lot of the power from the W, I'm not even sure that you should be going it in pro play anymore. And especially in a composition like this with Ken and Gragas dealing so much upfront damage and then scattering the team, I would want the empowered leap for the resets, and I want the empowered Q for the isolation damage. So I am got a lot to talk about. If I'm coaching G2 and we're working with Yike, there's a lot of things that are going against the team's setup. Now, I won't mind it at level 16, having an extra tool that can slow enemies down so that our team can find and engage. Sure, fine. Even then, more points in the ultimate could totally be solid, give you that move speed boost, and being able to run away from Lucian while repositioning could always be strong. I just don't think the W is that strong anymore. With the slow being removed, right? Used to be 99% slow, now it's 70. That's a big deal. So, anyways, we come back to it. G2 still does have a lead. They still have the team that can pull this off if they can get these team fights. But you can see them sort of splitting up in these fights. It seems like they're just trying to go from staggered or syncopated flanking angles at all times. But they're not able to consolidate their damage. What they really want is they want the fight to come into the pit, and while they're together, Kennan's going to go and try to rush in. You'd like to see Rakan into Kenan, into Gragas, into Kazakhs. Okay, that is the pattern that they're trying to get off. You don't need to be flank angle for that because Rakan can just do it front to back. Well played by Kazakhs to get out. They get the Dragon Steel for themselves. And again, at all times, PSG has to worry about clumping up. If you ever clump up, you're probably all going to die. They have to be the team that's finding the pick, right? You want Flash Engage from Malphite, followed by Flash Ultimate from Annie, with upfront damage from Lucian, right? Or you could have Lucian up in the front of the team saying, hey, I deal more damage in a burst to Xayah. Happy to do this. I'm also up in items against her, so I could take this fight to her and then try to let the fight kind of build up where they're trying to chase me down. They clump up trying to answer for me, and then Malphite and Annie can go together to punish them. Now, they're not actually overcommitting for this turret. They're just going to accept the global shared gold going down. Annie does not finish Cosmic Drive. I wonder if they were trying to give her that cannon because she recalled and did not get anything. So would be curious to see. Now this is not, I believe it is not the change on Cosmic Drive that is live in League of Legends right now for us. This is the one. This is still the 3-stack one. Which may mean that you may see a Lichbane, right? Lichbane gives more upfront move speed, and in general, I think Lichbane's just better. And if you use that, right, you get that 8% speed boost rather than 5%. You can find those extra angles. And, make no mistake about it, the combo will get better by one auto attack when you count it as another spell. Right? When you can go up there and say, hey, I'm going to put all my AP into you as well with an auto attack. It's like having another spell. Probably the most underrated item, that and Nashor's Tooth. Just don't get played the way that they should. Nashor's Tooth has been buffed into just completely absurd levels now that it has everything that it used to have. All the cooldown reduction, you've got everything. They've amped up the power. You're able to use it just over the course of the game. You kind of forget sometimes how often you auto attack. You're never really thinking about it that much maybe. These pros are as good as anyone at weaving in autos, but having that extra ratio just come up, it's just very, very nice. Never really going to see it in pro until you see it for about 2 months. Some analyst will pick it up and start putting games into it. They'll see someone that's putting games into it and succeeding, and that's when it will make its way into pro. Even then, analyst will tell a pro player, hey, Gnasher's Tooth is doing really well on this champion, and here's how to use it, it still takes the pros a while to get used to it. And for certain, to actually buy it on stage, you need to be comfortable with that item for sure. All right, so G2, this is what they're looking for. They want this clumped up fight, but it's happening in darkness. So not quite the best situation. You've got Kennen pushing the side wave. They do eradicate that wave. Now, if Kennen holds onto his teleport there, he could have actually gotten more damage onto this turret and call the bluff of PSG. Instead, he opts to get in. What is this teleport? Trying to go to a hidden position. That is what Broken Blade is trying to do. So he teleports, but he teleported to a control ward. That's always going to reveal you. So they should know where they saw you. Of course, if you teleport onto a control ward, you will give vision. If you teleport onto structures or random things like minions or wards around the map, it will not. But if you teleport to a control ward, it will reveal the control ward on the map, and then they'll be able to hover over and see that animation where they otherwise shouldn't be able to. So really don't like the play from Broken Blade. Two better options were, one, just staying in bottom. I can see the desire to go back to your base, right? Because you'll get the home guards effect. You want that extra speed, especially as a Kennen when you're coming to teleport. You're coming not to save anybody's life. You're coming to pick a fight, and you want to be fast. You want to get to the right spot. But ends up going to an occult. Tries for an occult approach, but does it by going to a control ward. So just nothing lining up, right? A lot of options would have been better here. Specifically just staying bot, right? Your team is non-committed right now. You can be blankly autoing the wave while your team stares at the river, and while you stare at the river looking for all the information that you can get. You don't really need mechanics to auto attack a turret. Now we do see upfront damage to Mickey. He does get popped. Now Rakan, Broken Blade goes in with Kennen. They're able to get a bunch of this upfront damage, but it's not quite lethal. Kha'Zix this is what he wants. He's chasing everybody down. Caps is unable to kill Junja. Oh my goodness. Now Kha'Zix is going to be able to take this for himself. Junja dashing forward. Boom, a slow, and that should be enough. That should be all that we see from Junja, but he survives long enough. What is this? Zhonya's. What was that? Zhonya's like. That was bad. Actively bad. Oh my goodness. That's got to be a fat finger or nerves or something, but there was nothing, absolutely nothing coming to you. And you just lined yourself up for their normally hard to hit CC. They're able to get it for free. Now check out the beginning of this. It starts with control ward advantage. Broken Blade getting onto the team, going everything on Waco, right? Trying to put as much as possible. He does get the late stopwatch. Kha'Zix just flying into this fight. The Krask is able to blow up Lucian. And then Kha'Zix is just hunting everybody down. But again, the W not really helping. You do get a little bit of slow. It would be totally fine. Having the empowered R would have been great as well. But definitely the empowered E to fly around that fight would have been best. You get those cooldowns. You just keep on jumping. You pick everybody off now that they're blown up. Now check out this. They bait out the engage. Cap survives because he's a Gragas. The beer keeps him alive, and they're able to turn this. But Nami's able to hit some bubbles, and now we've got Junja going into the pit. We're going to have a smite fight won by PSG, but the fight has got to favor G2 right now. You get the dragon, but I get your ace, and I get your base coming after it. They're going to wipe everybody, and they're going to get this kill. They're going to get the pushes in. Top wave is available for a push. What are the timers? 33 seconds. Do you have teleports? They do not. So there's no win on the table ever so slightly. Now, if you're Kennen here, you want to actually leave these casters alive. All right? Nope. That's a mistake. You want to kill half of that wave so that your wave can start building up while you go get Baron. He may have decided just a little bit of chunk damage on the front. Now let's check out the fight. Broken Blade doesn't get any of the upfront damage, but gets a stun here. Chain CC. They get the lockdown on the Annie. But Annie, once she's already put the Tibbers in place, she's happy to die at that point. It's like a Kog'Maw passive, but better. Although Kog'Maw passive getting buffed, the dubious distinction of a buffed Kog'Maw passive. Just like, yeah, I to deal my full combo, I have to die. Very true in the case of Scion, not as true in the case of Kog'Maw, but new patch going live, Kog'Maw will be able to chase anybody down who kills him. 500 kills caps on international major events. This is MSI, this is Worlds. That's incredible how long he's been at it. Probably second to only Faker, although maybe someone like Knight or Deft might be up there, although Deft missed a lot of world championships. Yeah, that list has got to be elite, I'm sure. All right, now, Gragas, not going to die, has the Zhonya's and the Cosmic Drive. Literally never going to die on this champion. Gets to be up front, gets to spit out these barrels. And if any of them connect, if anything connects, then you're going to see Chain CC come in. But realistically, they're just going to hold the line. They're going to let Gragas sit there. Now, it does look like those are Claw. That looks like the R upgrade, not the E upgrade. I can't tell with that skin. Actually, those wings do look kind of big. So that might be the Grasshopper upgrade from Kha'Zix to let him jump around. We'll see in the next fight. And here we go. We got Kha'Zix by himself. Kind of makes sense, right? Kha'Zix by himself, happy to take a 1v1. You want those isolated spots for him. The team fight's going to benefit the Kennen and Gragas, but Kha'Zix definitely wants to be around. They isolate Aji, but that's the wrong target to isolate. Of course, that is the front-to-back formation, and that is a Gragas ultimate down. So will we see an attempt on the Kha'Zix life as they rotate over? No, they do get out back in time. Very interesting formation. Again, for the second time, kind of throwing something non-standard. You'd normally put the Kennen over here and try to get him to flank behind. But they're just saying, hey, we need the tools that want to be here for the Malphite ult, here for the Malphite ult. So they are very much making an adaptation, saying, hey, Malphite's going to be here. We want Kennen and Gragas to be here no matter what. And Kha'Zix has no business standing in a 4v4 siege, right? What are you going to contribute? You're going to get those void spikes out once every 8 seconds. Well, that's not nothing. You did upgrade them after all, so maybe could be showing some value there. Who else are you going to rotate over? Not really anybody. So they put Kha'Zix in the side lane, say, hey, he's strong enough in a 1v1. Viego also has no point of being in a siege situation, so jungler's off in the side lane. Why not? Makes sense. In this very specific context of a team comp, yep, makes sense. Yike. Okay. All right, 3 dragons to 2. We've got dragons spawning in a minute, Baron spawning in 3. The map belongs to G2. They've got 3 extra turrets. All of the inners are done. That's also extra 3k in their pockets, which is 6k total gold lead. But you're going to start seeing that whittle away or not being as noticeable as much now that Xayah is on full build. Gragas is approaching full build. You've got these guys approaching full builds. That gold lead is not going to be meaningful if you can't express it in items. The last thing that we should see is probably Berserker's Greaves being sold for a Phantom Dancer for Hansama. Very much in full build now that she is level 18. You also see the Bloodthirster and the Maw of Malmortius, which makes me wonder if the second tree is Shield Bash. Because you have a Rakan. This is how I recommend that lane be played. No one ever does it. But overheal plus Rakan, the extra fighting pressure, the Shield Bash gives you those extra stacks. And if you have Maw and the Bloodline, or the extra shield stacking with Bloodthirster, you're going to be in very good shape with those Shield Bash procs as well. Now, check this out. We're going to call the bluff. Kennen is stepping forward. How quickly can PSG react? It needs to be now. Decisive action right now. You either go after the Kennen or you come after the clump. They're deciding to go for Dragon. Annie, where are you? Is Annie still looking for a flank? They end up getting the Dragon and nothing in exchange. Kennen is going behind them. They need to fight forward. PSG does not realize it. Oh, it's actually Gragas. And they do not get the read. They do not see the teleport. And they end up walking into the arms of Gragas. And G2 gets exactly what they want in this fight. But miraculously, only 1 death to PSG. No, there's got to be more. Here's 2. Here's 3. Caps, is he going to die? Beautifully timed. Getting his damage out and getting the Zhonya's off. And there we go. There's the resets. This is what we wanted from Yike from the beginning. Could have had this 10 minutes ago. But gets the full set reset fight as the Kazakhs, waiting for a spell to go down before jumping in to make sure that there is no counterplay. They stagger the death. That is the game. Beautiful composition. Love the wrinkles in the macro play. Love the Kazakhs pick paired together with Gragas and Kennen. And I actually love the idea of putting Zion the side lane against Malphite Annie with this comp, trying to force your people over. So love the real-time adaptations. Maybe they've discussed this composition and what they're going to be doing with it, but a great game from G2.